Once in Israel, a prophet named Jonah received a command from God. Go to Nineveh and preach against its wickedness. But Jonah did not want to obey. Nineveh was Israel's enemy, and he did not wish to see them receive God's mercy. Instead of heading east, he fled west to Joppa and boarded a ship to Tarshish, trying to escape God's call. As the ship sailed, a mighty storm arose, tossing the vessel violently. The terrified sailors cried out to their gods and threw cargo overboard. Meanwhile, Jonah was asleep in the ship's hold. The captain found him and said, "How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. Perhaps he will save us." The sailors cast lots to determine who was responsible for the storm. The lot fell on Jonah. He remembered how God had spoken to him and admitted, "I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and dry land. I am running from him." Frightened, the sailors asked what to do. Jonah replied, "Throw me into the sea, and it will become calm." At first they hesitated, but as the storm worsened, they cried out to the Lord, then threw Jonah overboard. Instantly, the sea calmed. Awed by God's power, the sailors offered sacrifices and made vows to him. As Jonah sank, God sent a great fish to swallow him. For 3 days and nights, Jonah was in its belly, surrounded by darkness. There, he prayed, "In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. You brought my life up from the pit." Jonah acknowledged God's mercy and vowed to fulfill his calling. On the 3rd day, God commanded the fish to vomit Jonah onto dry land. Humbled, Jonah obeyed and set out for Nineveh. Arriving in the city, he proclaimed, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown." The message spread quickly. The people of Nineveh, from the greatest to the least, repented, fasting and wearing sackcloth. Even the king rose from his throne, covered himself in sackcloth, and decreed that everyone should turn from their evil ways, hoping God would have mercy. Seeing their sincere repentance, God relented and did not bring destruction upon Nineveh. But Jonah was furious. He wanted Nineveh punished, not saved. He went outside the city and sulked, complaining, "I knew you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love. That's why I ran away. Now take my life, for it is better for me to die than to live." God responded with a lesson. He caused a leafy plant to grow, providing Jonah shade. But the next day, he sent a worm to wither the plant and a scorching wind to make Jonah miserable. Jonah lamented the plant's loss, and God asked, "If you care so much for this plant, which you did not grow, should I not care for Nineveh, a great city with more than 120, 0 people who do not know their right hand from their left?" Jonah's story teaches that we cannot run from God's calling, and his mercy extends to all. Sometimes, what we resist is part of a greater purpose we do not yet understand. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch other stories in my channel. Thank you for watching.